Blog Talk Radio.
Tomorrow's unknowns might be solved by asking yourself some questions. Does the thought of job loss, economic, or natural disaster have you worried? Have you ever thought, how do I grow and store food? Could I hunt or fish if I needed to? Where would I get my drinking water? And how would I purify it? What are other people saying about the economy? Find help and answers at shtfm.com. Learn new skills at shtfm.com.
Hey, all. Welcome to another show, shtfm.com. It's me and Lumpy on again. Lumpy's here. We're going to go over the list again tonight. We're going to try and get some more knocked out of this list, 100 things to go first in a panic. The actual name is the top 100 things that will grow scarce when SHTF. Lumpy, you want to start out with that number 49 there? Or?
Actually, we already did number 49. Why don't we go ahead and move on to number 50?
That'll work.
I'll start up with that. Cast iron cookware, that's a great commodity. It's not too good for hiking and shoving in the bug-out bag and stuff like that, but cash or whatever might be good to put in there. But you can find all sorts of nice frying pans and them good Dutch ovens and stuff like that, and those things are really, really handy. Make sure, though, if you do wash them, don't use
don't use soap.
Exactly, because the soap will take all the oil out of it, and then you'll have to re-season
them. They call it seasoning. Yeah, I think there's a post somewhere that shows you how to re-season and how to properly take care of them on the forum, actually. That's all we use is cast iron. We love it.
Don't like eating the little pieces of Teflon, huh?
No, and they say they can kill birds with it, so.
But cast iron cookware is great. I got a Dutch oven somewhere. Use the heck out of that thing. It's great to have. You can find a lot of them at garage sales and stuff like that, too. If you ever see any cast iron anywhere, pick it up. Don't let it go by.
No, they're good to have, man. Really good.
Especially at garage sales and stuff. And if you get too many of them, you can always sell it. Somebody down the road will need it. Pick them up. Don't walk by that stuff, all right? Move on to 51.
Yeah.
Fishing supplies and tools. Hopefully, more or less, are talking about fishing tools. One of the greatest tools that you can get now, before I kept needing those pliers on me, but now they have the Leatherman. So Leatherman's going to be an all-around great fishing tool. Fishing supplies, it depends on what you want. They got telescoping fishing poles. They got the kind that break down in half. They got kind that break into 4 pieces, all sorts of different hiker versions, backpacker versions. You can also consider doing what's called a taut line, and that's basically just hooking a line to the bank, tossing it out, setting it up so it has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 multiple hooks on it, and that way you have 6 more chances on the line. That also, if you just hook it to the bank, it also provides you a means of foraging, so you can just toss it out there and roll off and do other things.
Yeah. I had just made that Pathfinder fishing kit, too. I think that's pretty cool, just made out of PVC and stuff, and pack it full of stuff, and keep all your fishing gear in there. It's really easy to carry around in the small bug-out bag that I carry in the truck all the time. You can continue on to the next one if you want. I'm trying to do something else here real quick.
Okay. Great. Mosquito coils, repellent, sprays, creams. A lot of this stuff is going to be mosquito coils, repellents. There's also natural things out there that will repel mosquitoes, but I haven't used them. I've looked them up a little bit, but haven't really delved into it. But there's some products out there, and not trying to plug any of them or anything, but when I was overseas, the sand fleas were absolutely terrible. And the only thing I found that would work was Avon Skin So Soft. And, before I went to bed, I'd put it on, and that way my sleeping bag, my sleeping bag was coated, so no sand fleas would get in my sleeping bag. And then, I'd be rolling around in it all night, get up next day, I'd be just fine before I went to bed again next night, go through the process all over again. But that works really, really well. The mosquito coils, the candles and stuff like that, they'll probably keep them away from a certain area. I guess campfire smoke will keep them away also. But pick some of that stuff up, experiment with it, see what you think's best. And
the coils never worked with me. I don't know.
Yeah, They
Well,
never.
I'm from Florida,
either.
so we got all kind of mosquito testing down there, buddy.
Yeah. So, and I'm from the military. If it's got DEET in it, the mosquitoes have heard of it. They know that food is involved in it, so they're just going to dive right into that DEET and eat you up. They love that. They know that's food when they smell that DEET. Duct tape? Okay,
yeah.
number 53, we're going to hit up duct tape here. There's actually some different versions of duct tape. The best one, don't go to the military stores and buy all that happy little military duct tape. That stuff is no good. Go get the good stuff from Home Depot or whatever. That junk will stick, it will stay, and it will last a long time. All right? Don't buy none of that camouflage junk from U.S. Cav or wherever the heck. The best. Go ahead.
There was a post on the duct tape post in the forum. I think it was CFI that made the post. He talked about the Gorilla Tape was better than the duct tape, and he said it doesn't weather like duct tape does.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't tried it yet, but
I'd
like to try that.
Yeah, I have to check that stuff out one of these days if you ever get enough money to blast a bunch of bucks away on some Gorilla Tape.
Right.
All righty. Tarps, stakes, twine, nails, ropes, spikes. A lot of these things are very handy to have. And tarps, there are many different kinds of tarps. Now, I found a nylon ripstop tarp, 10 for $40 at a local sporting goods store. And great thing to have when I, back in my little younger years, I had one and I'd put it on the back of my web belt in place of my poncho and hook it up there with some military blousing rubbers. Basically, you blouse your boots with them, and I'd hook it on the back of my web belt. Wherever I went, I had a shelter, and it was long enough to where I could put a floor tarp down and then bring it up and have both the walls, so it worked real nice. But there are many different types of tarps, like I said.
Tarps are going to be a big thing if any kind of storm or disaster or anything like that hits. I mean, you might have things that you might have to cover up. You might have some issues with your roof, leaking or whatnot. If you're bugging out or getting out, you're still going to need tarps to cover stuff. It's going to be, they're good to have for everything. I have tons of them.
Right, and don't forget that tarps do weather rather badly. So same with the ripstop tents and junk like that. If you happen to get them when you're done with them, pack them up and/or make sure they stay in shade so the UV rays don't tear them up. Stakes can be made out of doggone pieces of wood, so do what you think's right there. Twine is good to have, 550 cord, any sort of just any length, any type, anyhow, you always find a use for it. It's amazing. If you just cram some different types of twines, ropes, or whatever in your bag, you always find a use for it. Nails are good to have. Unfortunately, there's so many different lengths, varieties of nails. It's not funny. You can also make nails out of wood. You can use a piece of wood to make a nail out of it, and you can actually nail wood together with wood nails. That's what they did way back in the old days and stuff like that.
Nails we pick up anytime we go to the flea market or something like that. Somebody's usually always got just old junk they're throwing away. They're trying to sell real cheap, or overstock stuff that you see sometimes at some of these places. And we got a bunch of them at one point. I think they're 50 cents a box. So we grabbed a bunch of those up then. We use them all over the place.
Yeah, and that's another good point. These flea markets, you find a lot of stuff in there, garage sales and junk like that. And I'll be out working. I hope my boss ain't listening, but a lot of the other guys do it. We'll drive by a garage sale. We'll just stop, and pull into it and look around. Spend 8 hours, 3 hours that day, doggone garage sailing. That's terrible, but hey, we get paid for it. But whatever. But rope's good also, and I'm not too sure what spikes is in reference to, but just keep in mind a lot of these little things will come in handy, all right? And go to garage sales and flea markets. You on the next one there, Johnny?
Candles? Yeah, everybody knows I love my candles. Actually, I don't burn them very often. I just keep a lot of them in places because they're always good to have. You can use them to start fires with instead of burning your hands on other things. You can keep them in your vehicles in the wintertime. So if you break down, your car isn't running, and you're stuck out there waiting for a tow truck or waiting for somebody to come pick you up or whatever, if it gets too cold in the car, if it's really cold outside, you can use some candles in the car and crack a window and heat up the car pretty good on the candle. They're definitely good to have. I would definitely stock up on the tea light candles that you can get. Somebody posted one of the big, I think it was Danger D, or somebody posted some big tea light candles that were fairly decent priced. So that's pretty much all I got to say about candles. They're good to have. I mean, you can heat food up with them and everything else. So you got anything on that one?
No, you can warm your tent up with them.
Yeah, definitely warm your tent up.
Help for stuff like that. Okay, let's find right back there. Laundry detergent, liquid. Yeah, it's nice to have, but I'd sure like to learn how to make some of that Liar, whatever the heck that is. A skill like that's going to be good, because once you buy your laundry detergent, it's eventually going to run out, So we
actually
situation. Go ahead.
We actually have a post up there on the forum too, how to make your own laundry detergent, and we've also been experimenting with something else with just dish soap right now. But you got to watch that one, because you'll foam your whole laundry thing out.
Nice.
Then you have foam all over the floor.
That's good too. All righty, we're going to go into backpacks, duffel bags. There are so many different types of backpacks out there. It's really not funny. You got your big, heavy backpacks. You got your little 3-day assault packs. You got day packs. You got, pack. Then you got $29.95 packs. You got $210 3-day assault packs. It's absolutely crazy. The pack is going to depend on what you need, what your purpose is, where you think you're going, what kind of, a situation you're preparing for. I don't see a lot of redundant, making buying a 3-day pack and buying a big pack and then have a bunch of redundant material in it, or trying to just grab four packs. It might be best to have one, 3 of them with clothes in it that you need, and then maybe some MREs or stuff like that, and then as you need your really necessity items, just decide which bag you want to shove them into. But I don't know, this comes in one of them things you're going to have to really plan and prepare, and some people might be able to pack up 8 bags and just grab whichever one they think the situation's going to fit. Me personally, I can't, so I'm going to grab as little as I can and roll out. So
they're useful, but you also will end up, if you got too many bags, like with your tools and everything else, you'll definitely end up losing things, because I can sit there and dig through my tool bag for who knows how long looking for stuff. You want to move on to the next one?
Sure. Tools and supplies. I grew a wonderful garden of weeds this year, so somebody might be a little more proficient at it, because I really don't feel too confident at it after my last 2 years of weeds. So, but there are just the usual shovels and rakes, even a regular lawn rake, hose, then little V thingies help pull out weeds, the little hand shovel. You know the names for any of these tools. I'm just blasting stuff right now.
You're gonna need garden stuff if it comes down. You're gonna need real shovels and things like that for making repairs or moving dirt or whatever. All depending on what the disaster is. You definitely might need a lot of that stuff. Picks and pickaxe,
mattocks and axe and
yeah.
And supplies and stuff like that,
All right, scissors, fabrics, and sewing supplies.
That's always
good.
Can you
guys
to have
tell
around.
that we're not really interested in some of these topics? Scissors, fabrics, and sewing supplies. You definitely got to have those, regardless, to patch up your clothes or anything that happens where they're.
And a lot of times, just having just your old rags and hand-me-downs and stuff like that. It's good to keep them on hand. I keep them on hand, because I work on motorcycles and dirt bikes, and we're always tinkering around with one thing or another, So we always have a lot of stuff like that. And those old clothes that you think because the knees are blown out or the butt burn out in them or something like that, they're still good. Hang on to that stuff, you know. So sewing supplies, it's good to keep little kits in your bug-out bags. Get a fairly decent-sized kit with a good variety of threads and stuff like that in your BOL and or at home. You know, there's some good canvas sewing thread and stuff like that that's very, very strong and very durable. So select your threads. Remember, if you're out there in the middle of nowhere, you know, some of you people might live out in the middle of nowhere and you don't want to make a zillion trips into town, pick that durable lead or thread, pay the extra money for it, and it's going to make your job last longer. You know, plus learn how to sew. That'll help make your job last longer too. We're guys, you know, so we probably don't know a lot about sewing.
Yeah, I know how to sew. Learned when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, I seen you getting your fingers sewed up too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good reason to learn it too.
Heck yeah, it is. Canned fruits, veggies, soups, stews, etc. I heard something to the effect of stay away from the quick open lids because they're actually kind of sealed with rubbery type junk, and they'll probably go bad sooner. But that doesn't mean completely disregard the use of them, because if you're using your stocks and you're rotating, that stuff shouldn't be sitting there that long anyway. But do look around for canned fruits and veggies and soups also, and stews that you have to use a can opener to open. Okay? But that's all good stuff to have. Go to the dollar store. You can pick the stuff up cheap there. It's good
that kind of falls in line with prepping, though. A lot of this stuff falls in line with prepping, but we're pretty much just telling you, you know, the goods and bads about it in our point of view.
Yeah,
but, and fruits and veggies you guys should already have if you're already doing it.
Yep. And the point is that these are things that will disappear when
real quick.
You know, real quick. It's like we had an ice storm last year. Went to Walmart. Sorry for plugging the hub of the terrorist activity. We went down there, and it was like the second day. It was so bad we had to eat out for the rest of 3 days that we didn't have electricity. I mean, people had just plain bought everything, you know. So just plan accordingly. Don't wait till the last minute. These things will disappear. We've already seen it in hurricanes and electrical outages and all that stuff. People aren't prepared. Everybody rush down there. It'll all be gone. All right? Bleach. Plain, not scented. 4 to 6% sodium hypochlorite. You can also get sodium hypochlorite in powder form also. But you need to store it separately outside where it's vented. Don't let water get into it and or other liquids because it's highly corrosive. But it will purify water. Make sure you know what mixtures you're using. Questions there, Johnny?
No, bleach is a definite must. You need it for your water and everything else, and cleaning, disinfecting. You know, especially like when I cut my finger up. You know, I use bleach. I don't use peroxide. I go right straight to the hard stuff, man. So I mean, it's good to have. Definitely should have plenty of bleach on hand at all times. Absolutely. Canning supplies?
Canning supplies. Now, a buddy of mine, he says he uses his lids over and over again, so they'll still seal. Don't throw them away. And if they don't seal, they just move on. But make sure you got plenty of jars, lids, and even wax for your jams and jellies and stuff like that. And don't stop prepping. You know, keep buying that stuff. And when things happen.
We got tons of jars from this old lady that was cleaning out her basement.
Nice.
Not too far away. She was an older lady, and I guess the kids don't do that stuff no more. So we actually have a Ford Explorer. We packed the whole thing down full of jars. I mean, I'm talking half-gallon jars, quarts, pints, everything, man. So now we're still trying to catch up on lids with them all.
Right.
If we don't start selling some of them soon, because we got tons of them.
and that's another item that you find at garage sales. People just want to get rid of it, and you can pick them up for cheap if you can find them at garage sales. Knives, sharpening tools, file stones, steels. I've been working on that. A lot of people are trying to get fancy knives and all this junk, you know, and don't hurt your feelings if you get a fancy knife and it gets scraped up or handle gets a chip in it or something like that. Just get out there, find a good knife, good solid knife. Realize you're going to be using it. Maybe make sure you have a couple because they break, things happen, you lose them, stuff like that. Make sure you have your sharpening tools. I'm real famous at rounding a blade. If you give me a regular blade and you tell me, yeah, do that at 28%, degree, guess what? It's going to be round as heck. That knife won't even cut melted butter. So I got me a good Lansky sharpener. And that way anybody can sharpen knives. They can sharpen them sharp enough to shave. But I also got a puck. It's just a sharpening stone. It's called the puck, and it's for garden utensils and stuff like that. And make sure you keep your files. Those files will come in real handy. Your rasp, your files, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
get plenty of those things. Absolutely, those are really good items to have. And even if you have to do some sort of repair on plastic or steel, they'll help you smooth out, get the surface flat or whatever. So that's a good item to have.
The files you can even make knives out of, too, if you want to get into learning how to do and forge and everything else. I know if you built a little forge, you can take the files, old files you find at the flea market or something. It's a really neat hobby that I was looking to get into at one point, is making knives. There's a couple posts on the forum about making small knives for your kits for out of like old Sawzall blades and big old bandsaw blades and everything else. So next one.
One more point too. Hang on to the get some sharpening stones because they're a flat surface, and when you go to do any sort of engine work or something like that, a lot of the aluminum and stuff like that, when it heats up, it cools down, it heats up, it cools down. Well, it's not flat after a while. So once you pull that gasket off there, it's not flat. Before you re-put a gasket on there, you can hone it down, just go over it a little bit, it'll flatten that back out, and you won't have any oil leaks on any engine work you have me doing. Real good item. Hey, it works. I'm serious. It works real well. And I used to work on motorcycles in a shop, and the boss was like, "Did you hone that?" "No." "Take it apart and hone it." So nothing ever leaked when we got done out of there. So it's a good trick, and it will keep stuff from leaking. All right.
How many do you think we can knock out in about 6 minutes? That's about as much time we got right now.
We're doing pretty good, actually. Bicycle tires, pumps, chains, etc. Bicycles, tires, pumps, tubes. Remember the old style tube that you stand on, has a handle and you pump and stuff like that. They have most of them have leather inside of them. It's been a while since I've actually played with them. But even if you find an old pump and that leather is messed up, you can put grease on that leather and it'll re-moisturize that leather, and you can get your seal back in that pump again. All them pumps that you find laying out in the grass, you think they're no good, that pump can probably still be used. I found one time. It was old as heck. I don't know, man. It was old. It was thick, hard. Looked like one of them things that last for years, built from like the 40s or 50s. Pulled it apart. It was dry as heck. I put grease in there. Thing worked great. Keep spare tubes. Keep tires. Tires on bicycles, they will get cut. The sidewalls and everything, they're not as thick as a regular tire.
Just remember, you can make rubber bands out of the tubes, and definitely want to keep bicycles around. They're good to have. You can make neat little contraptions out of them, especially if you do go through some kind of a disaster when you're going to be out, out of power and everything else for a long time. I mean, you might get pretty creative being with not a lot to do around. You're not going to have your TV to sit in front of anymore. You never know. So definitely keep those around. I mean, they're making, what was she talking about last night? Talking about making the grinder out of a bicycle.
Grinder. Yeah.
Right.
So you get a bunch of old gears and stuff like that. You can actually kick back and run the chain up to the grinder and sit there and freaking sew and grind wheat at the same time. Yep. But bike stuff's good. Check your tire repair kits, too, the vulcanizing type kits. They're real easy, real simple. Make sure you got tire irons so you can get the tires off. Let's go on to sleep bags, blankets, pillows, and mats. A lot of different types of sleep bags out there. They got the fleece liner type things that you can put inside of the sleep bags that will actually give you 10 to 20 degrees more rating in them. I don't know what to say about sleep bags. Like I said, I use the military ones, so I'll talk about those if you want. They work great. If I got a fleece in there, it'd be even nicer. It's nice having the 4 different, the 3 different pieces in a bag to carry it in and compress it. So mats, I'll sleep on a rock. I really don't care.
Yeah, but sleeping bags you definitely should have. Definitely blankets, especially living in cold weather.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the next one? I think that one's pretty important, especially after. Go ahead.
Oh, the carbon monoxide alarm is very important. Make sure you test them regularly. Make sure you have batteries. And some of them also will hook into your hard electric and also have a backup battery. But those are important. Make sure you have them. Make sure you check them. Make sure not only do you have a carbon monoxide alarm, but also fire alarm, a smoke alarm.
Definitely a point about the carbon monoxide alarms is the fact that on the carbon monoxide alarm, you see a lot of times when there's like hurricanes and other disasters, there is a lot of people dying because they'll set their generators up to run their, whatever they're running on the electric with the generator and end up blasting all that carbon monoxide right into a window or something and not even knowing it. And you get a lot of deaths like that. So definitely keep some with batteries. You want some with batteries because if you don't have power, you want it battery operated. And if you're running a generator or any kind of heating source in your house, like our kerosene heater, we crack a window, so we don't really worry about it too much. But we don't crack a window. We actually have a window open. But you definitely want one of those because carbon monoxide obviously you can't smell. It's a very important one to have, I think, if you're new to any of this and you just got to be safe. That's all.
And that's true too. Like you're saying. Plus, you got the kerosene heater, and once again, it's nice to know that you're not choking yourself out. Go ahead.
I was just going to go to the next one there.
Nice board games, cards, dice. Nice things to have. You all know to deal with those. Play your Chutes and Ladders and Candyland and stuff like that. Good stuff. But there's a lot of fun games you can do with that stuff. And dice is good and cards are good. Keep a lot of quarters on hand for drinking games.
Yeah, when you don't have a TV, you're going to be wanting something to do if you don't have enough work to keep you busy. Because, like I said the other day, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of work for you to do. You want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, Decon, rat poison, mouse proof, and roach killer. We got cats. They seem to work pretty good for that stuff, but I can see a purpose for a lot of this junk. Just be careful with this stuff. If you do pick it up, make sure you store it correctly. And don't let your youngins around it. Keep it locked up out of reach and stuff like that. Most of the stuff is a nerve agent.
Right.
And if you get enough of it, even on you, it will affect you. So please be careful with this kind of stuff, and don't let your young ones get into it. Protect your pets from it also. Mouse traps, ant traps, and cockroach magnets. Once again, it'd be in the same aisle. Pick them up. Be careful with them. Don't let your
going to want them.
Right. Don't let your kids and stuff get snapped with the mouse traps. They're old enough, they'll be playing with them anyway. Paper plates, cups, utensils, stock up. Now, a lot of times, what I usually do is I get the plastic bowls and the plastic cups, or the plastic cups and the plastic utensils, because I can rewash them and use them time and time again until they finally break. But
right.
Paper's a one-time use. Once you use it, it's a done deal. Sawing on that steak, you get a hole dug in that thing, and it's done. So I always get the plastic. Like I said, I play military, end up in barracks or whatever. Who the heck knows where? I'll buy plastic. I can wash it and use it over and over again.
All right, I think we're going to end the list right there at 70. And if anybody's new here, the forum is shtfm.com. And if you haven't been by there yet, come on by, check it out. There's a lot of information there on prepping and rural living. And all kind of neat things that you can learn, a lot of DIYs, do-it-yourselves, how-tos. And if you have any questions, please ask. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Lumpy, you got anything you want to say before we leave here?
No, it's been, once again, another pretty nice show, so we're doing pretty good.
I don't know how the sound sounds, but VN hasn't really said anything today, so hopefully it sounds a little better today. You guys have a great day, and really appreciate you guys stopping in and listening to us. And we're going to definitely have a schedule out real soon here. We're just not sure when yet, and then we'll have a steadier pace of when we're going to be doing shows. But right now it's still sporadic. So have a great night, shtfm.com.
Thanks all.
Tomorrow's unknowns might be solved by asking yourself some questions. Does the thought of job loss, economic, or natural disaster have you worried? Have you ever thought, how do I grow and store food? Could I hunt or fish if I needed to? Where would I get my drinking water? And how would I purify it? What are other people saying about the economy? Find help and answers at shtfm.com. Learn new skills at shtfm.com.